see a lot of Christians come on and they say like, oh, atheist, you can't have objective morals or something.
Oh, atheist, you can't have objective morals or something. No, I'm just kidding. Of course you can have morals. The problem is you have no justification for them. But hey, let's keep going.
But they always leave it like that, as if they have morals from the Bible, God, whatever, but they never explain how.
By reading it.
So if you're like a Christian or a theist, how do you get your morals? Don't just say from God, because that's not a how. That doesn't explain anything. How do you actually get them? And if the answer is reading the Bible, what do you mean by you read it?
So we open the book, we read the words, and then we figure out if it applies. Our ultimate goal is to be like Christ. And whatever Christ would do is the moral thing to do. If he is truly the perfect being that we believe he was, then acting like him, that's the morality. God is the standard of morality because he is good. He's all good. And so the more we are like him, the more moral we are. And that is the foundation of our morality and how we learn it. So we see how God tells us to interact with others. We see how God treats us, and we understand the dynamic of the situation. For example, if God says this is an example of love, then we can practice that love to others. But if God's saying, I'm the judge and here's the standard, well, we're not the judge, so that doesn't apply to us. So it's God's morality, but the situation also has to be taken into account. That's why God can take life and we can't. But that's also why we can follow his example of sacrificial love. So some things are meant to be emulated and other things aren't. It's no different than if your parent was a police officer. You could learn from your parent on what you should copy, but you're not going to go on patrol if you've never been to the police academy. Now, there's two types of passages in the Bible. There are descriptive and prescriptive. There are passages that simply describe what happened, and then there's passages that prescribe something. They tell you what to do, but you also have to figure out who's the audience. Because when he tells the Israelites to build a tabernacle, Christians are not required to do that. That was instructions specifically for the Jews.
How do you actually get a moral, especially an objective moral, but even any kind of moral, how do you actually get a clear moral out of the Bible, and then how do you apply it to things? Because most of the rules in the Bible are about how to obey God.
Right, because that is how we express gratitude. See, God was willing to die for us so we wouldn't have to pay the price for our sins. So when someone saves you, then the natural response is gratitude. And we show gratitude by understanding he is Lord. He is rightfully worthy of obedience and worship. And so we give that to him in gratitude. So the great thing is that Jesus made it very simple. Everything falls under two categories. Either love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, or your neighbor as yourself. If you're acting in love towards God, you're not going to violate him. If you're acting in love towards your neighbor and everyone around you qualifies as a neighbor, then you're not going to hurt them and you're not going to violate them. So that's like the easiest way to do it. Does it show love to God? Does it show love to others? If it doesn't, then either it's benign or hurtful.